Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it on a Wednesday, Hump Day, Lincoln, Nebraska. DP, one-on-one. 402-464-5685 is the Starter Heyman text line. You want to be a part of what we're doing? Fire up them fingers. Text in, hit us with a what's up. If you got questions for the coach, let me know. We will have discussion. Of course, recent news makes it interesting to talk about some of the facets of football. And we will do some of those things. You can follow us on the live stream. Jump on Allo Channel 961, Facebook, YouTube, X, if you will. Before we bring them in, let's set the tone. Let's set the table. Let's do it.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
They say perfection doesn't exist. I offer you that. Barry Thompson, the coach. What's happening, BT?
Hey, baby, it's all good on the wood. It's a great time of year, man. It's a very exciting time of year. We got holidays coming. We got playoff football coming, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good time, and happy to be here in Lincoln from afar.
Hey, Barry, let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
How you doing?
Good and getting better.
Good and getting better.
And let me ask you, how your people doing?
Hey, I heard a different response to that.
Okay.
If my people were doing any better, I'd have to get some more people.
Dude, I love that one. I love that one.
I'd have to get some more people.
I love that one. Let's hand out some lollipops today. I love it.
Have to get some more. The news in Lincoln, Nebraska is the addition to the coaching staff for an analyst, somebody with head coach experience at this level and above. Yeah. And that what happens in a program with a young quarterback, a quarterback of note, mind you.
Yes.
Who's carrying a burden, and so you've got to fix some things. Barry, have you ever been on a staff where I know that. That's funny. Where somebody was brought in as an analyst this late in the season?
Well, not this late, but somebody who was brought in as what's the official word, offensive consultant?
Yes, sir.
That's exactly the role. I had a hard time describing what I'm doing with W&L until I heard the title. I am, with our former high school, an offensive consultant. And I was thinking about this today. It really depends, like in all coaching, in all jobs, it really depends on what the job description is and what the person's authorized to do. In my case, I carved it out for myself, which was the objective was just to get the quarterback ready to be able to execute the offense that he was facing. So that meant that I spent in the summer a lot of time with the quarterbacks. We're in the second year of a 2-year schedule. So the quarterbacks got a summer project. And that summer project was that we would go through each of the games that we were to play this year. I constructed a series of 1-minute videos to provide them a template of how to look at a play, the formation, the down and distance, the protection, how it was being defended, and how they would make their decisions on it. And then they were to, on their own, go in and pick out 3 or 4 more plays. And then I held them accountable on the huddle. I said, you need to have a daily huddle habit, 5-10 minutes, didn't matter, but it had to be daily. And so we went through all 10 opponents before practice started. So the objective was that they essentially had a notebook so that when we came up on game week, it wasn't brand new for them. And as we went through camp, and you have 1 week and then you start that scrimmage week, I treated that as a game week. So I went back and drew the other film and fed it to them like you would in a game week: formations, down and distance, blitzes, specials, and then a list that kind of like a clip list. And we started that process. So that's how we started off this season. Now, the only technical thing I did was I had to straighten out a couple of them mechanically. That was done in the summer. And then, so that was my consultant role, in which I never set foot on the field. But my objective was, or my job was, to always kind of coach them off the field. And I made sure that everything that I did was copied to the offensive coordinator with strict instructions that if I ever said anything that contradicted him or contradicted what he wanted, they were to ignore me and listen to the OC. And the OC was to alert me, hey, that's not what we want. We want X here. So that was my role. And I bring that all up because Dana Holgerson's role may be different. So you depend, what are they asking him to do as a consultant? Redesign the offense, or we think we need to help Raiola kind of prepare better and understand situations better. We don't know from the outside. But so, is he supposed to change plays? Is he slowly going to install an air raid system? And my role, working with the offensive coordinator, there are some things that I see that I communicate directly to him, and I say, hey, look at your personnel group. If you use this type of thing, this can get us that type of thing, and it seems like it fits with what you want to do. But at no time does he ever have to take what I say, right? It's just a suggestion. We talk about, I communicate to him my feelings about controlling a game and how to go about winning a game. He listens. And I think in a consultant role, that's probably the most important thing, that you feel that you're being listened to. As coaches, when you get in that room, not everything you say is acted on, fortunately or unfortunately.
Well, it's so the perfect person to have this conversation, because there's so many questions.
Go ahead.
Right. That listen, at this level, at the level that Nebraska's at,
mm-hmm.
that a consultant is going to get whatever they can agree to pay. In some cases, it's just some.
Oh, they're gonna get paid,
right? They're gonna get paid.
Yeah.
That in order for this to happen, there has to be an admission or an acknowledgement or identifying that there is a problem that is not fixable by the people who currently exist in those positions. Is that a fair statement or no?
Well, of course it's a fair statement. But there's you always say there's multiple questions. First of all, you paid a ton of money to hire these people to come in. Mm-hmm. And like if I'm a check writer, mm-hmm. and I paid a ton of money to get in, and the people that I paid a ton of money to are saying, well, we need some outside help, I'm really asking, why am I paying you then?
Yeah,
because let me finish up, because the guy that I'm going to bring in is going to cost less than the guy that paid you. So if I'm a check writer, I'm really asking some questions. That's one. Mm-hmm. Two is, yes, there's an issue. That's why you're reaching for outside help. But that's only 1/10 of the issue. The issue is, can you identify the problem that needs to be solved? So running back to me, I came up on this staff. The head coach had been after me for 7 years to join them. but they just came off of the best season that school had like in, I don't know, 50 years.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, I said, whatever you guys are doing, I said, it works. I don't think you need me on the field. I said, let me tell you where I think I can provide value here. I can provide value with doing some of the things that you can't do, right? You know, high school is tough to meet with quarterbacks and to do that type of stuff. So I said, I think you provide value here. And so that was my value add to what they're doing. Now, bringing in Holgerson, it's a name and it's so forth. But what's the value add when you bring them in? And that's related directly to what is the issue? What is the issue that this guy's gone nearly a month without throwing a touchdown? What is the issue that in too many games he's taking multiple sacks? What is the issue, right? Mm-hmm. If the consultant is coming in to help, if the problem's been identified and the consultant's coming in to help that problem, then yeah, as a check writer, I'm okay with it. But I'm still questioning why I paid you all this money that you had to go to somebody else. Shouldn't we hired him instead of the other guy? So there's all the kinds of levels to it. But you definitely have to identify the problem. And you have to have a clear – my role with my team is clearly understood, right? I don't go to practice, but I have almost daily communication with the quarterbacks, with the blessing of the offensive coordinator, right? And my role is to help them better understand what the coordinator wants them to do, right? That's my role. So I don't need to be there every day. So what is the role? I heard it described. What is it described as an evolving – and didn't they describe it that way? An evolving.
Well, that was the next question. Is that when you identify and you bring somebody else into the fold in week 11, that you can't be specific about what it is that they're brought in to do.
Right.
I want to, in that particular case, if I'm on the coaching staff and you tell me, "Hey, man, we're not getting it done,"
right?
I'm bringing in somebody else to help us. First of all, my first question would be, well, what are we not getting done?
Yeah. So for me, if I'm the check writer, right, I'm sitting down with the coach, the head coach, and you bring up two things here. So I'll try to get to them. First of all, I'm saying to the head coach, I expect you to fix it. I expect you to go to whoever where the problem is, sit down with your guy, get your guy at that position group to explain to you what is going on. Pop on the film, and if what he says doesn't match what I see on film, then we're having a conversation. Why is what you're saying not matching what I'm seeing on film? And then we need to have a conversation about, and by the way, it's a good conversation. It is a conversation to fix a problem. Nobody in the organization wants to be unsuccessful. Nobody. So we're sitting down. You're saying one thing. I'm seeing another thing. Let's figure out how we close that gap. That's why I'm paying you a lot of money. You are the one that's supposed to fix it. You are the one who's supposed to coach the coaches. You are the one who's supposed to solve the problems that come in. You are the CEO of this organization, and I expect you to do it. Now, when you bring somebody else in, and it's fine, but when you start saying it's an evolving relationship, okay, I've said to you over and over and over again, when you coach, I can give you any title I want to give you, but you better have the authority to coach. Now, when you say this guy's coming in and he's evolving and you're an employee player, who are you listening to? And the situation I'm in, the players know that the person that they ultimately listen to is the offensive coordinator. If I say anything that contradicts him, they are to go with him. And if I say anything doesn't happen, they're to go with him. And not only that, but the offensive coordinator is supposed to alert me and say, hey, that's out of bounds. Don't do that again, right? And so the lines are drawn clearly. He is the OC. I am just a guy here to help with this aspect of what's going on.
It's funny because you know that, listen, if you called Cindy today and said, hey, I'm bringing somebody in.
Yes.
They're gonna live with us. Well, Barry, what do you need her for?
It's evolving.
It's evolving.
Yeah. Hey,
it's gonna be an evolving.
Hey.
It's gonna be an evolving deal.
Cindy would say, "You better fix it. I don't need no control." Yeah, no. It when you break it down that way, and I think what gets lost in this is that it's still a people business. Fly the money around all you want, but at the end of the day, there are people, right? And it's that management of people, of men, of young men that can't get lost. And that more than anything will send a football team sideways. That if you're not managing the men, not leading the young men, right? If they feel in any way that this is going, it doesn't. Look, let me put it this way: players at the highest caliber will go anywhere for information that will help them get better. But if you ever give them one piece of information that doesn't help them, they will cut you out of their lives. They will cut you out of their lives. And you just have to remember that when you're coaching them, right? All they want to do is be good. All they want to do is win. Everybody who took the paycheck, they want to win, but it's not happening. So then how do we sit down and fix it out? It's not rocket science. The palette of things that you do to fix the problems are right there with everybody, right? How do we not put this guy in a bad situation, whoever the guy is, right? How do we protect him? If he can't do that, if he's doing something and he can't do that, then let's not ask him to do that. All right, if we do this, he's pretty good, but we put him in a bad situation. Let's not put him in that situation, right? It's not hard to figure out. It's not hard.
Through this, and you work in large number with quarterbacks.
Yes.
That there is a certain makeup to quarterbacks in the repetition.
Yep.
There's a certain confidence that is built in the same verbiage, repetition, same reminders, same contact points. And then imagining that after an entire offseason of work and 11 weeks in season after the month of training camp,
right,
that you tell them everything that we did wasn't good enough.
Oh, my gosh.
What does that do to a young quarterback?
Oh, my gosh. Like I said, man, it's like let me break down this way. When Phil Jackson was winning those championships, he won with the Chicago Bulls and he won with the Lakers. It was popular for people to say, well, you give me Michael, you give me Dennis Rodman, you give me Pippen, I'll win champion. You give me Shaq and Kobe, I'll win championship. Well, what people forget is that there was a guy in Chicago, great coach before Phil Jackson. There was a guy in LA, pretty good coach before Phil Jackson landed there. It is the management of people that is so important. You know, Coach Saban gets a lot of credit for what he did at Alabama. But honestly, there's not a lot of talking about his X's and O's. And he's had coordinators in and out. And when he was there, that train was running. And so what is that? It's the management of people. It's the being able to lead people in the right direction. Everybody that's involved in football wants to win. Everybody. I don't care if they put in the work, they don't put in the work. But when it comes time, everybody wants to win. Even the ankle biter, 7 years old. If you put a score, he might not have come to practice at all that week, but the game, he wants to win. And so when you're not leading a group of people in that direction, you got problems just for whatever it is. You got issues. You got issues.
Through all of it, and we're talking to Barry Thompson, quarterback coach, Fairfax Football Academy. Barry, it becomes a thing because at this level, there's a head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, passing game coordinator, receivers coach, tight end group, running back group,
strength coach, nutrition coach, mental coach,
right? And through all of it, and so
academic advisor,
right? And you've asked these young people to buy into everything that you're saying as gospel, as absolute,
right?
As absolute,
right?
And then, after 9 games, you say,
well, see, hey, what had happened was.
See, hey, Hey, that's how I know you my brother, because you said you literally see what had happened was
What I really meant was, Oprah.
and I'm a little worried. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go to break, but when we come back, there's two more issues. One, that you've said those things, and then you said you have to say, oh, by the way, forget that. There's some new stuff. And then here's the other thing that we both know as coaches, that we can have a plan and install in high repetition.
Right.
And that things can still go left.
Yep.
In game situations.
Yep.
But ultimately, it appears to me that the best coaches tend to say, that's on me.
Yes.
That's on me.
Yes.
And not that it's not on the players.
Yes. The adage is, I know we're going to break, but the adage is, if you lose by a lot, it's the players. If you lose by a little, and this is cold, it's tough to accept as a coach, but it seems to be true. If you lose by a little, it's the coaches. And we come back, I'll define that for you.
Yes, sir. Barry Thompson, DP, one-on-one, 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, wanting to thank you all again for your continued service. November is off and running. Check this out. Get up to $12,000 off or 0% financing on select new vehicles. We have great lease specials with new Trax and Trailblazers starting at $299 per month, and new Blazer EVs leasing for $399. Great payments, discounts, and of course, 0% financing. So make that short drive down 144th Street or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All finance with approved credit, leases with $2,500 down.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Beecham from Brand Lincoln Podcast and Perch Merch, your go-to in Lincoln for printing and promotional needs. Speaking of that, we are running a huge hoodie sale now through November 30th to save you big money on great brands. 20% off everything from Nike and Bella Canvas pullovers to Gildan and Port & Company sweatshirts and district fleeces. Get yours for your group or organization today by calling us at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
The Link Grill, Draft, and Crafts is your spot in Southeast Lincoln for great food and drink. They're serving new menu items and a killer craft cocktail menu with your favorite draft beers. You'll love their pizza and new entree options. It's a great place to watch any live events, and they have music bingo every month. They have an aggressive loyalty program that rewards fans with 7% back on all purchases. Home of the Nebraska Power Hour every night from 8 to 9 p.m. Order online at thelnkgrill.com or stop in at 84th and Highway 2 today.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers throughout the day with patchy fog possible. Otherwise, probably sunny and a high around 54. Tonight, probably cloudy skies with a low around 36. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly cloudy skies and white winds with a high around 55. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Gentlemen, it's time to elevate your style with something from our men's jewelry and watch collection. Why not treat yourself to the ultimate in luxury? We've got an incredible selection of pre-owned Rolex watches, even those hard-to-find models you've been dreaming of. Whether you're stepping up your game day look or adding a touch of class to everyday wear, our top-tier collection is sure to impress. Stop by Sartor Heyman and discover the perfect piece to reflect your unique style. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Come get it on a Wednesday. Barry Thompson, One-on-One, 93.7 The Ticket. Again, for you folks on the Sartor Heyman text line, thank you. You folks who are on the streams, thank you very much. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Barry Thompson, we're asking questions.
Yeah.
And I think, in fairness, that we can clean the palate.
With sorbet? With sorbet?
With sorbet, it is the only palate cleanser, kind of, sir. Who raised you?
Maybe sherbet.
Right, but here's the thing, that in this space, that some of the discussion is that it's coach,
yeah,
and some of it is that if something's wrong, it's the player. And I'm just of the school that if I'm in charge, if these are players under my charge,
right,
it is my responsibility and it is my reputation. It is my name for me to put players in positions where they can have success. And not only by having success, but having witnessed that I've installed, taught, lectured, high-repped, and watched them succeed at doing the thing that I'm going to ask them to do in a live game.
Yes.
And so that we know. And I cannot continually ask somebody to do a thing that they have either not shown proficiency for
right,
or success at. So, Barry,
right.
How do you deal with it?
Well, let me go back to what I said. I said that there are a couple of coaching adages that are really, really tough. One is you get what you allow. That's a very tough one. That's a very, very tough one. But the one we're talking about, I think that relates to it is if you lose by a lot, it's the players. If you lose by a little, it's the coaches. And so what that means is a lot of what you just said, but it also means that, if like I'll give you an example. This was a few years ago. We were in a tough game at this another school, and there was a player who had fumbled at the goal line. Seen a clip, a certain run to the left, had seen him fumble. And then at the crux of this game, right, when you needed it was like the overtime, you need to score, they gave that same player the ball, and he ran the same direction, and he fumbled the ball. So there was a big to-do in the coaches meeting afterwards. And yes, we can't know that a guy is going to fumble the ball on a particular play, but we'd seen him do that before. And so at that point, did we coach him adequately about how to protect the ball in that specific situation, right? And you give it so that now we give him a chance to do it again, or did we just randomly call it again and it happened again and it seems like it's coincidence? Well, on the latter, it's our fault as a coach. And the former, where we took him aside and we talked about ball security and that specific situation in traffic where people are going to have that type of thing. If we coached him over and over again and he did it again, then okay, you can kind of live with that. It happened, right? You think he's your best player. That's your best play. You run behind your best tackle, and you've coached the hell out of it. And you know what? The ball came out. Those are two distinctly different things. And when you lose games because somebody jumped off sides or somebody, missed this, or we didn't get something, covered on special teams, or we didn't make a right decision on a particular play. As a coach, you got to take responsibility for that. And you got to look at that situation because those games are 50-50 games, right? A one-score game is essentially a 50-50 game. And so what you want, this is one of my favorite sayings, you want to win 100% of the 50-50 games.
How about
right?
that?
Right. And so there's some thought that goes into that about, maybe you practice situations. Are you coaching depth? Whatever it is, you want to make sure in those situations you're running things that are solid, that are sure. I had a very wise coach say to me, a high school coach that's got a lot of wins and, and two sports and state championships and everything else. And he sat me down when I first started to work with him. He says, I know how to win a football game. He said, there are other ways to do it. He said, but I know how to win a football game. And so from that very first interaction with him, I'm like, okay, let's go. You know how to win a football game. And you know what? The guy knows how to win a football game, and the process that goes involved with making sure that players are ready for those moments, is really important. Like, I'll give you an example. You asked me about this before. This is a time of year where everybody knows they're going to be playing competitive, close games. The likelihood of overtime coming up is high. So how many teams out there are spending time on their 2-point plays? How many teams out there are running 1st and 10 situations, 1st and 5 situations, 3rd and 3 situations, like really this time of year, that's all practice should really be made up of. 11 weeks in, everybody knows how to block, everybody knows how to tackle, everybody knows your plays, right?
Yep.
So yeah, we keep up our indie work because we want to keep our individual skills sharp. But what we want to really get attuned to is winning the situations that we know that are going to be critical to the game. And that should be what practice is made up of for this time, right? And that's from offense to defense to special teams. Like, how are you starting practice? It's important. It's important. It's not rocket science. It really isn't.
Through what's happened here, 5-4, and 3 games of note. So you travel to USC. You're going to come back home after a bye week. Your bye week, play USC, come back at home, final home game of the regular season against a Wisconsin team that has its own issues, right? USC has its own issues. They're sitting at 4-5. You're going to play in Memorial Coliseum with fans that are going to sit on their hands, and with the full expectation that things are going to go poorly for USC. Right. They're ready to boo. That's literally most people are going to show up.
Right.
Nebraska has every opportunity, but here's the thing, Barry. You're bringing in somebody who is renowned, and they'll tell you he's a 50-50 coach, 50% run, 50% pass. but he's done it from the air raid
Yes.
vacuum.
Right.
What
right.
does that mean to the average fan that comes in? What's
Yeah.
the expectation with somebody who is efficient?
Air raid is really about attacking space, and it's just really, very simple. Kind of, it's like a passing kind of wing tee thing. They don't really believe in a lot of formations, but just attacking space with certain routes. You'll see them go toward the middle of the field. A lot of teams are kind of limited to third. They love. Sometimes you're going to hold the ball a little bit longer, but they love two high safeties and getting after it. That's what that is. The 50-50 thing, I think, is overrated because it implies balance.
Mm-hmm.
And balance to me is whatever it takes to win the freaking football game. If you got your run game going and you hand it off 40 times, and at the end of the day, that scoreboard says Nebraska has more than whoever you're playing, that's a balanced offense for that day. And you got to get over it, right? But and maybe 2 weeks later, you jack the ball up 40 times. And you win that game. Well, that's a balanced offense. This idea of balance and 50-50, like what that gets me to the point. Like you can have plays, you can have defenses, and you can do all this stuff. But man, you got to have a way, a plan to win a football game, right? And that's not only plays, it's times when you want to control the ball. It's times when you want to steal possessions. There's times when you don't want to give the ball back at all. Right? It's managing the timeouts. It's all of those things, not just am I running this system or running that system, that type of thing. And if you're switching and you're going to put a heavy emphasis on scoring and let it go, you got to understand what that does to your defense, right? That means there might be some quick possessions. And is that really what you want? Right? And then you got this thing where it could get messy. It can get messy.
Yeah, I try to ponder what it means to bring in, and if you're bringing in somebody for, again, a young quarterback who's having difficulties, you've got red zone problems, you've got communication problems, you got issues. So then bringing somebody in during a bye week, so there's the bye week.
There's the bye week.
But does that really help you, Barry, at this level
I don't know. It can send things sideways depending on how it's done, right? Again, that brings you back to the people thing. It's like, okay, am I in charge? Or they listen to him? And, now you got players looking sideways. Hey, we can throw the ball up, and the receivers and the quarterbacks think they need to throw the ball more, right? And so there you go. And then the linemen, listen, let's there's two things about Nebraska football. Three things. One, Nebraska fans deserve a good product. They root on this team through thick and thin. They do, and they deserve a good product. Two, you have some good ingredients. You have a defense that is competent. You have a run game, right? I've seen some nice runs out of that. You have a 5-star quarterback, and you got some pretty good receivers. Like, it shouldn't be that hard to kind of make this work. It should be relatively easy to fix a few things and say, this is how we're going to go play football. The third thing is, with all the angst that's going on, is that a win will cover up a multitude of sins. Get that 6th win. Get that bowl game bid. And that is a step forward. And then, you can kind of reorganize and redo this thing and set this thing the wrong way. But this is the wrong era of football to be effing around with young players' careers. It just is. I think Chancellor said this, and he had a hope coach. I don't know if it's him or not. But he said something I never really thought about. You put a player in a situation where things are going sideways, and at some point that player who's thinking about an NFL career legitimately is going to think, man, this situation is really messing with my money. It's really messing with my money. And you have a guy who is talented as Dylan is, and that this doesn't seem to be working right now. Man, you just got to treat that seriously, and help these guys win. That's all they want to do is win. That's all the fans want them to do is win. That's all the administration wants them to do is win. So let's find a way to manage people, manage the situation, fix it. And yeah, but DP, everything you're mentioning, go this far down the pike and bring somebody else in, and how is that going to be articulated, right? How's it? Have you communicated to the team about it? How about that? Have you talked to the players?
Get out of my head.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it matters. There was a show, we won't mention his name, and it was a very popular show, and he had a daughter who brought a young man home that they knew nothing about. And the young man, he was sitting there, and it was a sitcom, and it was a Cosby show. And he says, I get the feeling that you don't like me. And he says, no. And Bill asked him, said, what's your favorite food? And the young man said, well, I like a nice, juicy, fat steak. And he says, oh, I'm going to cook up the best steak for you. And his mouth was watering. And he says, but then I'm going to take this trash can lid off the trash can, turn it upside down, and put the steak on it and serve it to you. He says, that's what my daughter's just done to you. She brought you here on a trash can lid, right? And so maybe there was a big talk before about Holgerson and they coming in, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to help Coach Hatterfield. Maybe he had a meeting. But that stuff, man, it really matters. It really matters.
Yeah, it's going to be the thing, man. And again, a lot of it's a bye week, so there's going to be 6, 7, 8 additional nights of talking about what we think it is until we see what it is, and then we'll have more questions. Hopefully, we'll find more answers. We'll toward the break, come back and close it by asking Barry Thompson, "What are you cooking?"
Manja.
The ticket. We'll be right back.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Before you start blowing and raking leaves this season, make sure you know where they go. Yard waste is not garbage, especially in Lincoln, where it's converted into earth fuel compost. All grass clippings and leaves must be separated from household trash from April 1st until November 30th each year. It's the law. Yard waste belongs in a paper lawn bag, or you may request a bin from your trash hauler who will pick it up for a small fee. Remember, no trash or branches are allowed in yard waste. Get the details at lincoln.ne.gov/recycle.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith. Innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln Families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Beecham from Brand Lincoln Podcast and Perch Merch, your go-to in Lincoln for printing and promotional needs. Speaking of that, we are running a huge hoodie sale now through November 30th to save you big money on great brands. 20% off everything from Nike and Bella canvas pullovers to Gildan and Port & Company sweatshirts and district fleeces. Get yours for your group or organization today by calling us at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The Link Grill Draft and Crafts is your spot in Southeast Lincoln for great food and drink. They're serving new menu items and a killer craft cocktail menu with your favorite draft beers. You'll love their pizza and new entree option. It's a great place to watch any live events, and they have music bingo every month. They have an aggressive loyalty program that rewards fans with 7% back on all purchases. Home of the Nebraska Power Hour every night from 8 to 9 p.m. Order online at thelnkgrill.com or stop in at 84th and Highway 2 today.
You're listening to One on One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Barry Thompson joins us on one-on-one. Kind sir, greatly appreciate you for dropping knowledge.
Man, just thanks for having me, man.
You know, dimes everywhere, kind sir. Information for the masses and folks that listen. I try to tell people it's not always our job to know the answers. It's to get to the right question. And so, you know, often in these conversations, it's just getting to the right question. Hey, Barry, what are we doing? So now I ask one more question, kind sir.
Go ahead.
What are you cooking?
Well, you know, as it gets cool, I think of, you know, stews and things like that, chilies. So, you know, chicken and sausage gumbo. You can find 1,000 different recipes. But the main thing I think with gumbo is you want to find ways to pack in. You want to think of cooking it in layers, and you want to add flavor to every layer that you're going. So, for instance, you'll take your chicken. Some people use boneless chicken thighs. Tell you what's really interesting is get about 3 pounds of chicken wings and, you know, separate the pieces and a little bit of oil and go ahead and you want to season up those wings and put them in there. And you're just going to, brown them a little bit, right? Kind of sear them both sides, about 3 minutes both sides. Take those out, so that flavors that oil a little bit. And then take your smoked sausage. Any smoked sausage will do, but if you can get your hands on some andouille sausage, maybe put about 1.5 pounds of that in there, and that begins to flavor that oil. Take that out when it crisps up. And now you're going to add your flour to that oil and make your roux. So now you're not just straight oil. You got this oil that has flavor, and it's going to imbue it in the roux. A lot of things out there about cooking roux, but you want to get it till it's a pretty dark roux. And at that time, you're going to take your Trinity, and you can add that in layers, right? You can add the onions first and add a little bit of Cajun seasoning. I'd recommend Tony Chachere's. You can get the no salt version because you want to watch your salt levels as it goes in. Add your green peppers, add your celery to it. Hold your garlic back for a little bit. Let that cook until it gets soft. Then put the garlic in for a little punch. Then at that point, your stock is going to go in. You smooth it all out, and you start to put your chicken wings back in, and you put your smoked sausage back in, and you just let that whole concoction go for a little bit and kind of taste it and make sure it's okay, and and then get your rice ready and have a ball with it. That's gumbo versus jambalaya, and it's a really good dish. Not hard to make. Tons of flavor. You can add a little vinegar if you want, a little Worcestershire sauce, a little hot sauce if you want, but do that tasting kind of near the end of the process. But they call it gumbo yaya. Do you know why they call it gumbo yaya? You know why? Because if you make it right, after you eat it, you go ya.
See, through all of it. Barry, give me the bridge between that final mixture and when the rice should go on, so that they couldn't. You want to have your rice already cooked. That's one of the things. And so your rice is already cooked, and you want also to have maybe some parsley and some spring onions already chopped up. So really, it's don't call it a soup. You'll start a fight, but it's kind of like a soup. And the rice depends on how you want it. When you want rice on top, or you want more of the gumbo on it, and then you just finish it off with a little bit of parsley, a little bit of spring onions, put a little hot sauce on it. But yeah, gumbo ya. So if you ever see that on the menu, that's what that's for. Gumbo ya. Yeah. PJ, love you, man. We'll do it again next week.
All right, man. Look forward to it. Bye-bye.
1-on-1, 92.7 The Ticket. Ticket weeknights. Good mornings. Coming up.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive